Recently, Babylon Bee interviewed Elon Musk, and in this interview they asked him, would you be willing to accept Jesus as your personal Lord and Savior? In response, Elon Musk said that he believed that Jesus had good principles, believed he was a man, and he was very wise, and he could learn a lot from his teachings. And if he could save people, who was he to stand in his way? Ultimately, he didn't answer the question properly, but I do want to pose a similar question to you. If someone were to come up to you and ask you, who is Jesus to you, what would you say? I want to briefly talk about the Incarnation with you from a biblical worldview. Incarnation simply means taking on flesh. From a Christian worldview, we believe that God took on flesh through the form of Jesus Christ. In John 1:1, we see that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. A little bit later in that chapter, it goes on to say that the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. Jehovah's Witnesses believe that Jesus was a man, but they deny that he was ever God. Islam believes that Jesus was a prophet, but they also deny that he was ever Son of God or God. One distinction between all of these is that they derive their thinking from a different source. It may be parts of the Bible, it may be a completely different book. But one thing that these religions do is they either subtract, add, or completely use a different book to define their view of incarnation. If you're a Christian, you believe that Jesus was fully God and fully man. If you encounter people, and I'm sure you will, that say, oh yeah, I believe in God, but they don't believe that he was ever a man, this is false. And if you run into people that say, oh, I believe Jesus was a man, but I don't believe he's God, this is also false, and these two need to be distinguished. In Matthew 16, he asks his disciples, who do people say the Son of Man is? They replied, some say John the Baptist, others Elijah, still others Jeremiah or one of the prophets. But you, he asked, who do you say that I am? Simon Peter answered, you are the Messiah, the Son of the living God. You may be wondering the reason why God sent his Son to earth. What's the purpose? Why does it matter? Well, in short, we have sin nature in us. We have a cycle of sin that we often fall into. I don't know what that is for you, but I'm sure there's something in your life that you don't want there and you know it's bad. And you can't break this cycle, and alone you can't. But that is one of the reasons why Jesus came down to earth, because he was fully God and fully man. He lived a sinless life, and because he lived a sinless life, he was the perfect sacrifice. Yes, he came to teach us, and he taught many things, but ultimately he came to save us. And if you are falling into that brokenness of sin, which we all do, if you trust in him, he can forgive your sin, and he extends grace to you. So, if someone asks you, who is Jesus? A proper response would be, he is the Messiah, the Son of the living God. Tune in on March 6th as we discuss the Incarnation in more depth. You can find us on YouTube at Gambrell Baptist Church or join us at 10:30 in person.